If you are still relying on fiber supplements or laxative teas just to poop, your gut is not actually healing. It is just coping. I used to feel super heavy and backed up for years, like a brick was just stuck in my stomach and would not release. And there was nothing that permanently fixed this until I started changing the foods that I was eating. And within days, everything started flowing naturally. So in this video, I will break down the exact foods that can reset your digestion and get you pooping multiple times a day without any supplements, powders, or protocols that do not actually address the root cause of your constipation. So before I dive into the what to eat, I want to first dive into the why, or the how you even have constipation to begin with, so that the what to eat will make more sense. So let's break this down super simple. So you're constipated because your colon or your poop tube is backed up, and it's backed up with undigested waste. And this just means that your food did not break down all the way. So now it's just sitting there, stuck, clogging your pipes and blocking your body from releasing, from eliminating it. Now, why is your food not breaking down properly? Because your stomach couldn't do its job. Your stomach is supposed to break food down before it even gets to your colon. And the thing that helps your stomach do that is something called stomach acid. But most people's stomach acid is very weak. It's too low to get the job done. And here's why it's weak. Your stomach was made to digest foods in nature, like fresh fruits and vegetables, okay? These foods have something in them called digestive enzymes, and they're basically just little helpers that make digestion way easier. Your stomach acid and these enzymes are supposed to work together. But the second that you cook your food, those natural living enzymes are done. They're completely destroyed. But most people's stomach acid is very weak. It's too low to get the job done. And here's why it's weak. Your stomach was made to digest foods in nature, like fresh fruits and vegetables. And these foods have something called digestive enzymes in them. They're basically little helpers that make digestion way easier. And your stomach acid and those enzymes are supposed to work together. But the second that you cook your food, those natural living enzymes are completely done. They're destroyed by the heat. And same with the hydration in these foods, the water and the minerals inside. Now think about it. Most of what we're eating is cooked foods, okay? Like toast, oatmeal, meat, beans, oil, rice, cereal. No enzymes, no hydration, no help. So your stomach acid has to do all the work by itself. And after years of that, it gets tired, okay? It becomes worn out and weak. And now it can't fully break down your food, which means more undigested waste, more buildup in your colon, and this just causes you to be bloated and backed up and not pooping right. And on top of that, most of these foods are so dry. There's no water in them, but your body is mostly water. So you need water in your food, not just from a cup. And this is why you always feel like you need to drink water with or right after your meals, is because your food is dehydrating you. So with all this being said, constipation is not just random. It's all tied back to weak stomach acid from the wrong kinds of foods. And if this is clicking for you right now, you need this. I put together a free guide called the Acid Reset Flow, and it's the exact 30-day rhythm that I follow to naturally rebuild and strengthen my stomach acid naturally and finally get rid of the bloating and the constipation. So you can grab that down below for free. Now let's talk about breakfast, because how we break our fast is how we set up our digestion for the day. And if you don't know what fasting is, it's just giving your body, giving your digestion a break, okay? So every single night, our body forces us to fast so it can break down this food. You know, if we weren't forced to sleep every night, we would probably still be eating just 24/7, and our body would never get to catch up and digest and break down all this food. And it's very important to break your fast with something light and hydrating, okay? You don't want to just go 9, 10, 11, 12 hours without eating and then break that fast with something super dense and dehydrating, okay? Like I used to do. You know, I used to wake up and have toast, avocado toast, or, you know, eggs or oatmeal or, cereal, things like this, okay? But these are very dense and very dehydrating, okay? And there's no enzymes in it, there's no life in it, okay? So this is very hard on my digestion as soon as I wake up, okay? So we want to start breaking our fast with something more light and hydrating, like hot water, okay? I recommend this to all my clients. This is essential for getting rid of bloating and constipation, because that hot water is going to break down any undigested waste from however long, even yesterday's meal, last week's meal. We have this undigested waste sitting in our colon, and that hot water that is already at our body's internal temperature, it doesn't need to use any energy to heat it up, slowing down our digestion like cold water does. So it immediately just hits our digestion and starts breaking down that undigested waste. And then we want to follow this hot water with either fresh pressed fruits and vegetable juice, or just some fresh juicy fruits. So if you want to do the juices, you can go to your local juice bar, or you can purchase a juicer yourself. And you want to get in lots of cucumbers. Okay, so I recommend, this is my go-to juice, is 3 cucumbers, 1 apple, a stalk or a bunch of celery, and some lemon and a little bit of ginger. Okay, the most important ingredients in these are the cucumber and the celery, because these are very hydrating. They're very enzyme rich, okay? They have these digestive enzymes that are going to hit your stomach, hit your system after that hot water, and help provide your digestion with these living enzymes to start breaking down more of this undigested waste in your stomach, okay? And you're prepping your digestion for the day, nice and light, hydrating, living, enzyme rich. This is perfect to start your morning and get things flowing and lubricating within your bowels and eliminating and pooping in the morning. But if you do not have access to a juicer or a local juice bar, opt for whole juicy fruits, okay? You want to go for the melons. If you have local melons in season in the area, these are super optimal for breaking your fast, providing your body with this hydration and this life and these enzymes. But any juicy fruit, peaches, plums, mangoes, papayas, even banana smoothies, okay? Bananas have 70% water in them. We want these hydrating, these water-rich, enzyme-rich, whole, fresh fruits to be breaking our fast with every morning. We want to be swapping our breakfast for green juices or fresh, juicy fruits. Whatever's in season, whatever is the best quality, whatever is the best tasting to you, berries, grapes, even the grapes are amazing for breaking your fast and hydrating your system. So these fruits, these either fruit juices or fresh whole fruits, are essential for breaking down, helping our stomach break down the undigested waste from these enzymes and hydration in these fruits. And you want to start looking at your diet, looking at the foods that you eat at levels of complexities and densities. Okay, so when I first went vegan, I was eating, veggie burgers and chickpea pasta and vegan mac and cheese and things like this, thinking that I was eating healthy. But these foods are actually still very complex, meaning a lot of processed ingredients in it, and ingredients that aren't in their whole forms and, not from nature. They're kind of just processed lab-made ingredients. And a lot of these foods that I was eating are also dense, okay? So they're complex and dense. And by dense, I mean there's no water content in them. Very, very low water content, if any. And there's no enzymes in them, okay? And so if you're eating animal products and, the density and these complex processed foods, the frozen and microwavable boxed bag foods, chances are they're highly processed, and they have ingredients in them that your digestion was not designed to recognize, let alone digest, okay? So a lot of fillers and preservatives and additives and these things that your body literally just doesn't know how to break down, and they require an excess amount of stomach acid to break down. So a lot of this stuff that we're eating in these processed, frozen, packaged, microwavable meals are not fully getting broken down because our stomach acid was not designed to know how to. So then these get stored as undigested waste, and this clogs our colon and keeps us backed up. So the way weaning down off of these complexities and these densities looks like is by transitioning into whole plants, okay? Beans, lentils, rice, quinoa, and steamed sweet potatoes and squash, and steamed and raw vegetables, and these fresh fruits for our breakfast. And then you want to wean off of these plant densities after a couple weeks, because the rice and the beans and the quinoa and these grains are still water, they're very low water content, and these also do not have enzymes in it, okay? So the only foods that have enzymes in it and are hydrating, the only foods that are healing to our bodies, are fresh fruits and vegetables. And so what weaning off of these complexities and densities looks like is transitioning your diet into a whole food, whole plant-based diet, okay? And what I mean by that is just whole plants, beans, rice, quinoa, lentils, okay? Steamed sweet potatoes, whole sweet potatoes, steamed squash and beets and vegetables, okay? And fresh fruits. And by getting off these foods that are at a higher density and higher complexity level than these whole plants, you're giving your body room and space to heal and to digest all of this food, okay? These animal products and these frozen and microwave processed foods are very dense and very, they're just clogging us up, okay? So when we take that step down a density level and a complexity level to whole plant foods, we're providing our body more space and room to eliminate. And then you want to eventually, after a couple weeks of eating this whole plant food diet comfortably, you want to even transition lighter down the density and complexity scale, because these beans and these lentils and these rice and the quinoa there's no enzymes in them either. There's no hydration in them either. We use these as transition foods to bring our body back into alignment. So after a couple of weeks of eating like that, then you want to transition off of the beans and the rice and all the grains and the legumes and beans, and just make your cooked food just steamed sweet potatoes, squash, sweet potatoes, squash, vegetables, beets, and even some raw vegetables, and those fresh fruits and greens, raw greens, and homemade oil-free, preferably raw vegan dressings and sauces and dips, okay? You want to start taking control of your own diet, making these things at home, because lots of these, box bag foods they're filled with a lot of oils and ingredients that we just can't digest. And especially the oils, okay? Me and you are water-based beings, and we both know that water and oil does not mix, okay? So just a little bit of oil is super, super concentrated, and it's just an overload of fat, okay? Just one spoonful of that is like 200-300 calories, and your digestion was just not designed for oil. There's nothing out in nature that has that overload of this excess amount of fat at one time. That's like you in nature just eating like 40 olives in one bite for one spoonful of oil, okay? None of us would be eating that if we're out in nature, which we are from. And so as you're transitioning your diet down in the complexity and density scale, you're adding in these raw fruits and vegetables, providing your body with more enzymes, okay? These living, hydrating, enzyme-rich fruits and vegetables are your answer. These are going to provide your stomach with these digestive enzymes and this hydration to break everything down and lubricate everything and get things eliminating, okay? So with all this being said, the only healing diet, and health means healing, okay? A lot of these foods are labeled healthy and stuff, but if they're not healing the body, they're not healthy. So the only healthy or the only healing foods for our bodies is fresh whole fruits and vegetables, okay? Or freshly juiced fruits and vegetables and greens, okay? So this is the ultimate goal. We want to start incorporating more raw. I don't really like the word raw. It's more sun-fired, sun-cooked, okay? The sun ripened our food perfectly for our digestion, so we don't need to cook it again, okay? The enzymes are already in there, the fiber, the minerals, the hydration, everything we need is in the food, the fruits and vegetables that are perfectly ripe. We don't need to cook them again. So we need to, this is the ultimate goal, is to come back to these foods that our digestion was designed for. And this is going to rebalance and re-strengthen our stomach acid naturally. So I advise you to just look up raw vegan recipes. You could type in your favorite meal, raw vegan favorite meal recipe, and I'm sure you'll find it. You want to do this with all your sauces and your dips and your dressings, okay? A lot of these salad dressings even have oils in it, and these fillers and dairy and stuff that is very hard for your digestion to process. None of our digestions were designed for, toast. It's very dehydrating. There's no enzymes in it. It's very processed. Okay, we would not be out in nature before fire. We got to think of how we were eating before we discovered fire. Okay, were we crushing down grains and just eating them? Like, no, that wasn't optimal human food. We were eating foods that we can pick fresh from the earth, that smells good, that tastes good. It's already ready to be eaten, and it doesn't need to be processed or boiled down or fried down or baked down just to be edible. Okay, so these are the most optimal human foods, is foods that we can just pick and eat. And these are everything in the produce, mostly everything in the produce section, fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, so we want to get in the habit of making our own foods at home, oil-free. Oil-free is the biggest cause of constipation, along with the animal products. These are the, at the top of the density scale is the dairy. Okay, it takes 10 pounds of milk to make 1 pound of cheese. You know how much energy and stomach acid that requires to fully break down. And a lot of our stomach acids are weak, and we just can't break this stuff down anymore. So it turns into undigested waste, and we are experiencing these symptoms from this undigested waste. And a huge factor of your bloating and constipation is drinking with meals, okay? Drinking whatever, waters, whatever beverage, with or right after your meals, okay? I used to do this all the time, thinking I was healthy and hydrating myself. But really, when you're eating food and drinking right after or during your meal, you're actually diluting your stomach acid. And remember, we need strong stomach acid to be able to break down our food efficiently. So we don't want to be diluting our stomach acid in any way while we're eating. So what you want to do instead of drinking with or right after your meals is, first of all, if you are going to drink after your meals, wait at least an hour and a half to consume any liquids after solids. And the second thing you want to do is start pairing your cooked meals, preferably oil-free and steamed, with hydrating, enzyme-rich, non-sweet fruits like cucumber slices, bell pepper slices, celery sticks, and green leafy lettuce. Okay, so these are not going to dilute your stomach acid, and they're going to provide your stomach with some hydration, okay? Because this cooked food is dehydrating us. This is why we feel the need to drink the water with or right after. So we want to eat these foods with it so we can hydrate and provide our body with some hydration that this cooked food doesn't have, along with these enzymes to help help your stomach break this cooked food down, okay? Because the cooked food has no enzymes in it. It's purely relying on your stomach acid to break it down, and your stomach acid is weak right now from the overproduction of stomach acid from eating these enzyme-less foods your whole life. So pair your cooked foods with non-sweet fruits like cucumber, celery, bell pepper, green leafy lettuce. And the reason I say non-sweet fruit is because you don't want to pair sweet fruits with anything else. You just want to eat sweet fruits with sweet fruits. You just want to eat citrus fruits with citrus fruits. Okay, fruits are best digested on an empty stomach. So preferably breakfast as you're transitioning. And then as you're transitioning down the complexity and density scale, you can begin to have more fruit meals. You can have a whole fruit meal for lunch, okay? I'll eat a whole bag of grapes, for lunch. So to start eliminating your constipation for good today is to start implementing that warm or hot water in the mornings. You can also do caffeine-free tea. You don't want any caffeine in the mornings, or really in general. It's very stressful on your nervous system, and we need a regulated nervous system to be able to digest our food efficiently. And the caffeine is just very stimulating first thing in the morning. So preferably just warm or hot water, or loose leaf herbal caffeine tea. And then follow that with fresh fruit juice or whole juicy fruits. You can even do banana smoothies. I love to make banana smoothies every morning, super hydrating and has me eliminating super quickly. And then we want to start weaning off the complexities and densities in our diet, the animal products, the processed, packaged, frozen, microwavable meals, and the snacks, okay, to more whole plants. Just have a steamed sweet potato with a little cinnamon for snack. Have some steamed oil-free broccoli and veggies with maybe some hemp tahini raw vegan dressing, okay? Get creative and utilize your phone and the internet to leverage your health, okay? Type in raw vegan dressings, raw vegan dips, raw vegan dinners, okay? There's thousands of free recipes. This is how I got started. This is how I transitioned off of these densities. This is what helped me transition off the densities, okay? I didn't know about any of this stuff, and that is why I'm making this video, because this is just life-changing information. It's so simple too. We're literally from nature, okay? Before these buildings and stuff, our ancestors were popping babies out barefoot on the grass with the plants, eating the food that we're growing with nature, okay? We're all in harmony with nature. And, at some point in this human evolution, we got stirred off the path of nature and into this man-made land where we're just relying on these buildings and these grocery stores, okay? None of us would be eating the stuff that we're eating if it wasn't for these grocery stores, okay? And then you want to start pairing your cooked foods with non-sweet, hydrating fruits, okay? Instead of drinking water with or after our meals. And when we do drink, if we do drink after our meals, we want to wait at least an hour and a half afterwards to not dilute our stomach acid and let it do its thing, let it fully break down our food. And this is going to provide your body with that hydration and enzymes that the cooked food doesn't have, to assist your stomach acid in breaking it down efficiently, so none of it turns into undigested waste, resulting in bloating and constipation, and even some fermenting, causing gas through your esophagus, and heartburn and reflux and things like this. It all starts with rebalancing and strengthening our stomach acid. So by staying consistent with these tips I told you, you will naturally strengthen the stomach acid and break down this undigested waste sitting in your colon, causing the constipation and bloating that you're experiencing today. So just stay consistent with this. If you guys need any help on this journey, drop a comment, leave me a comment, and I'll reply to any questions or concerns. I'm happy to make a video even answering a question to help you out. And I hope you guys found massive value in this video. Stay consistent. Find ways to support yourself. If you're not good at holding yourself accountable, which most of us aren't, because we were raised, with parents and teachers and other guardians holding us accountable. So find support systems that help you, stay accountable. Joining a class, joining a team, you're less likely to want to, eat late at night. That's another one too. I'll just go ahead and throw that in there too. We want to eliminate all food at least 3 hours before we're eating. Give our digestion enough time to break that food down, so when you're sleeping at night, your body can do other internal cleansing and repairing, cellular repairing, instead of just working on this digestive load all night, okay? And when we can give it that time and space and room before we sleep to digest, then it could start breaking down this undigested waste as we give it that, space and room and time. But yeah, you're less likely to eat at night and binge and eat these foods, these unhealthy foods, when you have to show up, the next morning for, coaching, a coach class or a team or yoga class or anything. You want to be feeling good in your body and optimal. And this is eating this way is going to bring your whole body back into alignment. Okay, the brain fog's not going to be there, the fatigue, the low energy levels. Your energy is going to become balanced again. Okay, everything just, life is so much easier. I've been eating this way for 5 years, and it has cured every digestive problem I've had, excess weight, even cleared my skin up. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, if you guys have any questions on this journey, I am super happy to help. This is what I'm here for. And you guys enjoy the rest of your morning, day, or night. And I will see you in the next one. Happy healing, family. Cheers.